An awesome follow-up question from a succession planning, selling to a key employee business valuation webinar I did for a Milwaukee chapter. But a client reached out to me and was questioning how much they were paying themselves in rent. Now, before we kind of get into that, you might be questioning, well, Hunt, if I own a real estate, I own a business, why would I care how much rent I'm paying myself? Right pocket, left pocket, yada, yada, yada. Now, there's a number of reasons why you should be paying yourself the correct amount of rent, but for this specific example, the biggest reason why we were concerned about it, it all had to do with the valuation of succession planning. Right? And I'll give you an example on this. So let's say that we are going down and we are paying around $5,000 a month in rent to ourselves. Now, let's imagine that same business, but we're now paying ourselves $50,000 a month in rent. Which one of those business do you think is going to have a higher net income? Obviously, the one that's paying a lower rent amount. Now, how is the value of a business derived? It's generally from a multiple of their net income. So the higher your rent, the lower your net income, the lower the business value. The lower the rent, the higher the profit, the higher the business value is, right? There's a relationship between the two. So if you value the business paying yourself $50,000 and a new owner is going to have to pay double or triple that amount, then do you think that that your business is going to be as valuable to them as it is to you? Of course it's not, right? The business is going to be making less money. Now, one aspect of this, you could argue that the real estate is now worth more, but you're probably keeping the real estate, hence the idea of you renting it to the new owner on here. Now, to know if you're in the ballpark of this, I have a really quick, easy rule of thumb. This is not the end-all be-all. That does not guarantee that you are dead on, but probably guarantees that you are not really far off. So what I generally tell people is your annual rent should be around 10% of your real estate value. So what does that look like? You can kind of go from both different ways. So if you pay yourself, and you're sitting here right now, and you pay yourself around $60,000 a year in rent, then think to yourself, is your building, real estate building land, worth around $600,000 or so? If you're thinking to yourself, yeah, it's probably worth around $500,000, yeah, it's probably worth around $700,000, you're in the ballpark on here, right? Now, that same example, if you're thinking to yourself, well, I pay myself $60,000 a year, which means my building should be worth around $600,000, and I know my last time it got appraised was worth $1.6 million, yeah, you are too low. Now, just so you know here, like I said, everywhere is a little bit different. If you want to be dead sure, you can go out and you can hire a real estate agent. They can do a fair rent analysis. They can essentially do an appraisal for rental prices and give you a real dollar figure. But really, the 10% rule of thumb should get you pretty close to at least know, hey, I'm doing okay, or I need to make a bit of a change. Now, as a general rule of thumb on here, do you want to undershoot this? Do you want to overshoot this? In most things, we want to be conservative on this. So if you're thinking, well, I should probably be paying myself $5,000 or $6,000 a month for rent, pay yourself $6,000. There is never a situation where paying yourself too much in rent within reason is going to be negatively impacting your business or the value of your business. But there is some situations where paying yourself too little rent easily could, and it's caught a lot of people off guard, especially when they figure this out too late in their business career. So take a little bit of time, taking a look at your property and making sure that you're not just paying your monthly mortgage payment, that you're truly paying yourself a fair and reasonable amount of rent.